Tiffany again. Today I will be answering two or three questions. I'll say two and a half because one of the questions, it's anyway, you'll see. Um, I'll be answering three questions today about parenting. Um, Real quick, a little background just so that people are like, oh, what do you know about parenting? How do you know that you're able to give good advice? Because you know those people are out there. I have two kids, and they're still alive, so obviously I'm a good parent. No. So I have two kids. One's 9, and one is almost 2 years old. A little older than 1.5. And they're awesome, smart children. They're the best children in the world. They're better than yours, probably. No, definitely. My children are like the best children in the entire world. So, um, I have an awesome husband, and um, we both raised our two kids in Virginia Beach. And yeah, so um, let me go ahead and get to the questions. So these are questions from random people, um, but I think they're important. I've noticed real quick, a lot of people nowadays that are having kids, they don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of kids nowadays are having kids, and the kids that are becoming parents, they hate their parents. So they don't want to go to their parents for advice or for counseling on how to raise their kids, which is the people they should technically be going to. I mean, heck, they're still alive, so obviously their parents did something right, right? So they go to doctors that tell them, don't give your kid cereal until your kid is like 1 years old. Well, I'm pretty sure your child will sleep a whole lot better and be extremely grateful for filling their stomachs when you give them cereal. You can give your child cereal all the way up until you can start giving them cereal when they're 3 weeks old. I mean, just test it out. I mean, that's one thing that I learned from my mother-in-law and my mom. Um, I know some people have their beliefs, some people have their own way of doing things, but I mean, in general, there are a lot of young people out there that don't know what they're doing. And nowadays, people don't know how to read. A lot of people don't even know what a book is. They don't know what a library is. So, the next best thing, ask your parents, ask people in your support bubble, your support group, your family, close friends, not the chick that you met at the bus stop yesterday. Um, ask your important people, your family, for some advice. So let's get to the questions. So our first question, all anonymous. So our first question is from a young girl, teenage girl. Her question is, do you think my dad has the right to be angry with me? So here's the backstory to the question. So she says, I'm a 15-year-old girl. My dad and I haven't spoken in a couple of weeks because he's angry with me. Furious, actually. Our relationship is possibly fractured beyond repair, and it hurts. My parents divorced several years ago, and about 2 years ago, my dad remarried. His wife has a daughter who's autistic. She can be very difficult to live with, and especially when you're sharing a bedroom with her and sometimes a bed. I tried, I really did. I didn't want to seem heartless, or mean, but I was really starting to resent the little girl. She would keep me awake most of the night. I had to babysit her almost every weekend, which meant not seeing my friends. Um, that would mean no eating or leaving her in a room alone. I was also told she was not allowed into my she was allowed into my bed if she wanted to sleep there, and that I had to let her um, or I had to get into her bed if she wanted me to go into hers. I was stressed and depressed, and my dad didn't want to hear anything I had to say. My mom tried to talk to him because she could see how it was affecting me, and all they could say was that I needed to treat her like I would my sister or best friend. So after everything else failed, my mom brought him back to court. I honestly didn't think it would work, but the judge spoke to me and agreed with us that it was the best idea that I didn't go over there. So she said that all the visitation was to be done outside the house, and my dad was so angry with me because of it. So let's see. She says, her question again, do you think my dad is right to be angry with me? I think that nowadays parents put um, a lot of pressure on their kids, a lot of unnecessary pressure. It is not your responsibility as a 15-year-old girl to parent your autistic stepsister. That is not your responsibility at all. Actually, your responsibility as a 15-year-old girl is to go to school, make good grades, make sure that you do build a relationship with your sister, but not parent her, and make sure that you set yourself up for college and get ready for college. That's your responsibility. Stay out of trouble, get good grades, set yourself up for your future, and enjoy your time with your family. But enjoying your time with your family does not mean watching your sister every weekend. I mean, what are your parents doing every weekend to where you have to be with her and watching her, just you and her? Because if something happened and your parents aren't there, I understand you're 15, but mentally you aren't able to navigate through any and every situation when it comes to having an autistic sister or stepsister. So I personally think that um, your dad doesn't have a right to be angry with you. If anything, your dad needs to be angry at himself that he even let it get this far. Parents, our responsibility is to make sure that our children, stepchildren or biological children, are having or given the best childhood possible. We our responsibility as parents is to make sure that we give enough attention to each child, that we spend enough time with you guys, that we educate you guys, that we take care of you. And taking care of you includes emotionally, mentally, physically, financially taking care of you, not making one sibling take care of the other sibling on a consistent basis. Now, I have a 9-year old, and no, I don't just leave my house and leave my 9-year old to watch my 1.5-year old. That doesn't happen. Even if my 9-year old was 15 and I had a 2-year old, that's not every weekend, that's not his responsibility. I would be asking, do you want to go over a friend's house? Do you want one of your friends to come over and hang out with you guys? Because kids, no matter what the age is, need to be socialized. You guys need to be able to socialize with other people so that when you get to college, you're not all jacked up and you don't know what to do when somebody invites you to a party. You don't know how to react when somebody asks you if you want to hang out at the movies with your classmates. Kids kids are meant to act like kids, not adults. And unfortunately, you're stuck in the middle of your mom and your dad and your stepmom and your stepmom and your dad. So no, if I were you, and I know it's definitely hard, but I wouldn't try to take it so heavily. That's your dad. That's all on your dad. It is not your responsibility to look after your sister, your stepsister, as if you were her parent. Um, just watching her while everyone's there. If you guys are up in your room, and that's one thing, but leaving you with her is a completely different story. So, and real quick, let me reread part of this of her background. It says, um, I was really starting to resent the little girl. She would keep me awake most of the night. I had to babysit her almost every weekend, which meant not seeing my friends, since I was told I had to give her all my attention from the minute they left to the minute they got back. That would mean no eating or leaving her in a room alone. I was told she was allowed into my bed if she wanted to sleep there, and that I had to get into hers if she wanted me. It sounds kind of excessive to me. But like I said in the beginning of the video, I mean, every parent has their own way of doing things, but personally, if you want an answer, I think that it's that your dad does not have a right to be angry with you. You're 15. So, and there's always two sides to a story, um, but unfortunately, this is the only side we have, and with all the information that I have, that's my answer. So, don't don't get worked up over it. Okay, our next question is, this is the half question. So, if someone does incest with their own child, and they have a child with their child, is it the person's grandchild or just child? So I don't even want to answer this question because it's dumb, and I don't understand why somebody is even thinking about incest with their child. So that's why it's a half a question. All right, next question. Okay. So, can raising kids make you age more than your actual age? That's the question. So here's the background story. Both my sister and aunt-in-law are the same age, 38. My sister only had 2 kids, aged 10 and 7, and my aunt-in-law is a traditionalist Catholic. Therefore, she actually follows the anti-birth control teaching of the Catholic Church. She has 7 boys, ages 11, 10, 8, 7, 5, 3, and 1. She just recently found out she's pregnant with kid number 8. Okay, that's unnecessary. From comparing the looks of both women, my sister still has a youthful look and looks to be her age. However, my aunt-in-law looks way older than 38. She looks more like she's in her late 40s to early 50s. So my question is the following. Can raising kids make you age more than your actual age? All right, so no. I think it's on how you raise your kids and what your stress level is in general in your life. I mean, she could have 8 kids and look like she's 28 because she lives a low stress life. I mean, it just depends on what you worry about. Now, 8 kids, I mean, just thinking about 8 kids is probably giving me more gray hairs on the top of my head right now. But I don't think it has anything to do with the number of kids that you have. It's actually just how you live your life. I mean, someone with 2 kids could have all gray hair, worrying about everything, looking like they're in their early 50s, compared to somebody that has 5 kids and they look younger, 10 years younger than what they are. It's all about how you live your life. So my answer is no. Raising kids cannot make you look older than what you actually are. It's actually how you live your life. So, someone behind the camera said that you should definitely look into stress management. That definitely would help. Okay, the last question is, why is it considered child abuse to shout/yell at your children? So, it's not child abuse to yell or shout at your children if it is for a good reason. And a good reason is, let's see, they're drawing on the walls, and that's after you told them that you shouldn't draw on the wall. Um, they are throwing rocks at your window. Well, that's a little bit more than yelling, but they're throwing rocks at your window outside. Let's see, they are continuously running their bike into your car. That's a little bit more than yelling, too. Um, it depends. I mean, if you go up to your kid and they're just sitting there chilling watching TV, I mean, why yell at them? Talk. There's no need to yell at them. Now, if they're sitting there and you told them to turn the daggone TV off and they want to act like they didn't hear you, I mean, turn the TV off and then yell at them. But, I mean, use common sense. Then again, a lot of people in this world don't have common sense. Like 90% of the people in this world don't have common sense at all. So it's up to you 10%ers to go ahead and tell your friends when to use, when to say yell at them, or you should probably at least say something. Because there's a lot of people that they let their kids walk all over them. They don't say anything. And that's even worse. Um, so, no, it's not child abuse to yell or shout at your kid unless you're doing it for no reason. And then you need to look at yourself and you need to evaluate why the heck you have no control over your emotions, because that's exactly what it is. Your children are not punching bags. They're not freaking dolls where you can just yell at them because you feel frustrated and vent. That's what a friend is for. And if you don't have any friends because you're a sucky person, then maybe you should go pick a wall to go yell at and not your children, because that's going to affect them mentally and emotionally for the rest of their lives. And then you wonder why there's so many freaking serial killers out here. It's because people unnecessarily yell at their children or actually hit their children for no reason. So if you set your children up for success from jump, then you won't have to worry about, well, am I unnecessarily yelling at my child? Because then you won't even have to yell at your child. I don't yell at my son, and my son is 9. Why? Because, like I said earlier in the video, I consulted with the people in my inner circle, my mom, my grandmother, my close friends, and I was able to go to them and say, hey, I would describe the situation. How do you think I should act? Or do you think I'm overreacting? Before I just go to my son and just fly off the handle. So now it's to the point where I talk to my son. When he does something wrong, I talk to him. I don't yell at him. I don't beat him. I talk to my son. So a lot of people need to take a step back, reevaluate what they're doing with their kids, reevaluate the resources that they have available to them, because a lot of people want to keep things inside the house. What happens inside the house stays inside the house. Yeah, so then that's a lot of crap that's not getting out. That's a lot of things that are a lot of things aren't being addressed. A lot of people that think they know what they're doing, they don't know what they're doing, and they need additional help, whether it's from family or it's from professionals, or heck, you could even go to the library if you know where one is, and go read a book. Check some books out on parenting. Ask some people questions. Don't just yell at your kids for everything. They are not your best friends. They are not, they're not people that are older than you where you can vent to them and they're able to take it. Children are not mentally at that level to where you can talk to them or yell at them and vent to them about your problems, and they'll just bounce back or they'll just understand. Unfortunately, situations like that are the very few situations that many children will remember when they get older. They may not remember whenever you bought them Jordans, that they didn't even really want. They would remember that time whenever you yelled at them for no reason, or you beat them for no reason, without any explanation. So take a step back and evaluate. Even if you think you're doing, your parenting skills are pretty good, take a step back and reevaluate and see. Just double check. Just, by yourself or with your spouse or boyfriend or whatever, fiance, best friend. Just say, hey, can I be a better person? Can I be a better parent? Because we ultimately work for our children. When you have children, your life is dedicated to that child or to those children. So take a step back, reevaluate what you can do better, because there's always an area that you can work on. Always. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. So that is my answer to the third question. All right, guys, I'm about to go work out. So leave your comments and or questions below. Let me know what I can do better, what things you would like to hear me talk about, any questions, different subjects that you would like me to answer questions on. And hopefully I will update or upload another video very soon. All right, later.